welcome back to Fight Talk, where we talk combat sports. My name is Austin Ullman, and Israel Adesanya is washed. He's washed. Man, that was really, really weird to see. It's the only way I can describe what we saw yesterday with Izzy. Surreal. I mean, just flat out weird. Just a weird thing to see. Something I did not expect. I'll get into it all. But man, that was crazy. I thought, there's just this thing with Izzy, right? This thing where it feels like he's always going to do it. It just feels almost like a movie script where it's like he might go down, but you know that in the end, he's going to come out on top. He did not come out on top. Before we get into that, Vinicius Oliveira got the win. Nice win for him. Sergey Pavlovich won an absolute snoozer. Man, the stock on that guy, and I'll be the first to put my hand up. I thought he was the next guy at heavyweight. It's clear now that that's Tom Aspinall. But man, I mean, not only has he turned into a bad fighter, he's turned into a boring fighter, which is the last thing I thought I would say about Sergey Pavlovich. And then MVP gets the win against Shara, handing Shara Magomedov his first loss. MVP. Just, I enjoy watching him. He's a showman. I understand the whole thing. It's still slightly frustrating to see. It's just kind of a frustrating style to watch. And for some reason, he's kind of known as like this guy who's going to do crazy stuff. And then you kind of watch him a couple times and you realize like, oh, this is actually rather boring. Yes, he's landing a few really cool punches, but like, this is kind of boring. And you can take a really exciting fighter like Shara and turn him into nothing. And like, respect, right? Same with Sean Strickland, respect. They are getting the most out of who they are. You know what I mean? They're getting the most out of who they are. Sean Strickland, there's no world where Sean Strickland should be competing with these crazy athletes he's competing against. But he gets the most out of what he is. Is it boring sometimes? Yes. Same with MVP. Is it boring sometimes? It is. But he got the victory. Let's get to the main event. Oh, man. So round one in this fight, close round. Adesanya looked all right. I think Izzy won the round. In the end, it didn't matter because round two, he was absolutely brutally knocked out. He had the eye poke. He tried the Alex Pereira, switched stances, and just got absolutely destroyed by a straight right hand from Imavov. Before I start on Adesanya, got to give you flowers to Imavov. Looked good. Fantastic fighter. Some crazy stuff from the announcers. This frustrates me from the announcers more often. Recency bias is insane. To say that Imavov should get the shot over Khamzat is crazy. And that's what Paul Felder and Laura Sanko, they were arguing for that. I don't understand that at all. That is just purely disrespectful. Because I guarantee they said the same thing after Khamzat broke Robert Whittaker's face. It makes no sense to me. And honestly, a win over Robert Whittaker right now, I mean, you can say, yeah, but he beat Adesanya. What's Adesanya? We're going to talk about that. But what is Israel Adesanya? Is it still the same Israel Adesanya? Clearly not. So, but again, credit to Imavov. He's going to get a big fight. I don't think it's the title shot. It shouldn't be the title shot. But he is going to get a big one. Let's get to Adesanya. The other thing I want to say with Adesanya, giving him his flowers, he is so good in loss. He's so good in loss. There's poor losers in the UFC, and then there's just guys who aren't. And it's pretty clear who's who. And it's very clear that Israel Adesanya is a fantastic loser. He's great in loss. He is so good to his opponents, always showing them respect. Posted a video last night already, watching the knockout on his social media. I mean, if I'm an Izzy fan, that's not right up my alley. I wouldn't love to see that the day of. But he's good in loss. And they said it as he was walking in. They were really, really excited about how he looked. He felt better than the Dricus fight. He felt like they worked harder in this camp. Everything felt better, and you still lose. You lose to a guy who you probably didn't even know that well before you got the fight signed, if you're Adesanya. I mean, that's like, I'm going to explain, this isn't just a big loss in his career. This is a big loss to, like, his legacy. And he understands that. And there's a lot of guys who would understand what just took place, and be really sore losers about it. And that's not Israel Adesanya. It's just not. So respect to Izzy for that. I just can't say it enough. He is great in loss every time. I respect it. With that being said, it is so weird to see him lose a fight like this. To see Israel Adesanya go down like this. Like I said, I can't explain it, but it's almost like a movie. Where, yeah, maybe he loses the belt here, but by the end of the movie, he's going to get it back. He's going to end on top. And we're at the point in his career where the movie's almost over. And he just kind of lost to a good fighter, but not a guy that's like just tearing apart the division like a Hamzat who's just running through everyone. It's just Nasruddin Imavov, guys. A guy with really not many impressive wins in his career. And so maybe I'll be proved wrong, and maybe Imavov will go on and be a champ and hold the belt and defend it a bunch, and then we can look back and say, okay, it's a good loss. But it certainly doesn't look like that right now. It's just, I don't see how he could come back from this. I don't see how he could even have a title shot after this. Because when you look at the division, there's a lot of guys in the division who are a lot like this, right? And as I look up the division, this is like, there's big holes in this guy's game, which is really crazy to think about. But when we look at middleweight, Dricus seems like a matchup nightmare. Clearly it was. He lost to Sean Strickland. I have no clue how you could beat Khamzat Chimaev. I don't know how anyone could beat Khamzat Chimaev. I think Robert Whittaker would be a tough fight for him. He just lost to Imavov. And then we keep going down. Am I confident that he would beat Kyber Alho or Jared Cannonier? Would he beat Paulo Costa right now? I think it's fair to ask those questions. Would he beat Shar Magomedov? I think it's fair to ask those questions. But specifically at the top, man, there's fluke losses, maybe 2 of them, but I don't think there's 3. And when there is 3, then you have to reassess whether the first 2 were fluke losses. And then you got to look back at the Dricus fight, right? And the Sean Strickland fight. And you have to ask, okay, maybe we need to reassess what happened in those fights. Maybe they weren't as big of flukes as we thought. It's a crazy thing to think about, but it's true. And then you have to look at the title run. And then you have to say, okay, was Izzy the guy we thought he was during the title run? Okay, he's lost 3 straight now. He lost to Pereira and beat Pereira, which the win over Pereira, let's look at the fight. It was a 1 punch. Alex got punch happy, really got going. Have we thought about that? Okay, let's look at the title run. Jared Cannonier. How has Jared Cannonier looked to you guys his past couple fights? That fight was only in 2022. Robert Whittaker win. It's a good win. Marvin Vettori. What do we think about Marvin Vettori? The loss to Jan Blachowicz, obviously, when he moved up. Paulo Costa. We thought Paulo Costa was the next thing at that time. How's Paulo Costa looked his last couple times out? Not great. Yoel Marrero, Romero, sorry. Robert Whittaker again. The Whittaker wins are impressive. And then Kelvin Gastelum. Very close fight against Kelvin Gastelum. Listen, people have been saying it for a little bit now, but it might be time to pay attention and ask yourselves about the Izzy run that you saw. Because this is a different guy, it seems like. And we're at a point in the time where we're seeing a lot of dominant champions. And we can certainly be confident in saying he was never as dominant as Islam, never as dominant as Ilya, never as dominant as Pereira at 205, right? Like, that's obvious. So he's out of those talks. It's things to think about. There's just too many guys in this division, I think, that can just tear apart serious openings, serious weaknesses. To see him get hit like that, and then you look and ask, like, well, what is it? One punch power? Not really. And there's way too many advanced wrestlers. Think about where he went. He was so cocky on the title run that he said, I think I'll go for a submission in this fight against Sean Strickland. He went from saying that to now losing his last 3 fights, and his next fight will be who? Headlining a fight night? Maybe against a contender? 5 through 10? Like, he's got the name, obviously. So he'll always be either headlining fight nights or be up there on pay-per-views or whatever. Totally understand that. He'll always have that draw. There's people that will watch, but man. He said Alex Pereira would be the guy saying, I beat that guy one time. Take your guess now who that guy is. That's Israel Adesanya now. Alex Pereira is one of the best he's one of the best fighters of our generation. He's one of the best fighters he's making a run to be one of the best fighters of all time. And now Izzy's truly going to be that guy saying, I beat that guy one time. Literally. I just don't see how he can come back from this. He's got serious troubles defensively, right? He doesn't have the one-punch power to finish guys. And for a guy who's had so much aura and so much of this wow factor, I just thought for sure there's no way that's gone. There's no way it's gone, right? You had to believe. I thought there was some crazy comeback story where he revenges the losses. I thought it was a win, and then revenge the loss against Strickland. Revenge the loss against Duplessis. That's gone now. That's gone. The aura's gone. The wow factor's gone. He's out of the title picture. We have to question his title run. And that's where he's at. And it's sad, because I think he's an awesome guy, and he's a fun character, and he was really good in loss. He's very respectful. He loves the sport. He's great on social media. All of those things can be true. But all of the things I just said in the last 5 minutes can be true as well. And that's sad. So is Israel Adesanya washed? Yes, he is. He is. He'll never fight for the title again. That run is over. And not just that, but the invincible. You feel like you just couldn't touch him. It literally felt like it was out of a movie. And that is gone. Because Nasruddin Imavov just knocked this guy out. For that, I'm Austin Ullman, and this has been Fight Talk.